Shabbat is called Shabbat Zachor. Chachamim tell us that Kadosh Baruch Hu expects us to come to Bet HaKnesset, men only, to listen to a paragraph, Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek, remember Amalek. What he did to you, you came out of Egypt. Of course, simple explanation, the way the Torah tells us, Amalek arrived, we came to a city, Refidim, and Amalek arrived. We had a fight with him. Then Hashem tells Moshe, טוב זאת זיכרון בספר, ושים באוזני יהושע. Tell Yehoshua, write it in the Torah, כי מאחור ימחה את זכר עמלק מתחת השמיים. I'm going to destroy that nation, Amalek. And nevertheless, the paragraph we're going to read, it says, תמחה את זכר עמלק. You have a special mitzvah. Says the Gemara, Mashiach will come, Rabbi Amen. יקבץ נדחי ישראל, will collect all of us, ויחריד זרעו של עמלק, will destroy Amalek. What's so important about this guy? The first job of the Mashiach is to destroy Amalek, nation Amalek, the fought with Am Israel. Kadosh Baruch Hu says his name is not complete because of this nation. Special mitzvah comes the Torah and says, Zachor et asher asa lecha. You have to read from the Torah, Lo tishkach, don't forget. Something that we don't find almost in any other mitzvah that Hashem tells us to do not forget. Hashem tells me, remember, I understand, to remember. Here Hashem emphasizes, do not forget. Don't forget it. What do you mean don't forget it? Hashem doesn't want us to forget such a thing. In the Megillah, the Megillah tells us the story of Haman. The Megillah tells us that Haman decided one day to destroy Am Israel. Says the Gemara that Haman was so successful that even the Satan in Shamayim was able to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, once for all, please get rid of the Jewish people. Says the Gemara, Eliyahu Nabi was in Shamayim, and he saw that Hashem is very serious about it. So he went to Hebron to Me'arat HaMachpelah. He woke up Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov and told them, did you hear? He said, what? We didn't hear nothing. Hashem kept us in the dark. I said, well, let me tell you something. Hashem told the Satan to bring him something from clay. He wants to write a decision to destroy your children. Says the Gemara, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov asked Eliyahu Navi, what is it all about? What happened? So Eliyahu Navi said, they went to Achashverosh's party. And they did not behave over there. Mixed dancing, other bad things. Says the Gemara that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov told Eliyahu Navi, if this is the case, what can we do? Finish. Can't help you. Says the Gemara, Eliyahu Navi went to Moshe Rabbeinu, Raya Mehemna, the trusted shepherd. Told him, do you know? People took out of Egypt. Hashem Chas Shalom wants to destroy them. Says the Gemara, Moshe asked Eliyahu Navi, tell me, there's somebody downstairs that can pray, that can do something? And Navi said, yeah. There's a guy's name Mordechai. Says the Gemara, Moshe told the Navi, you know what? I'm upstairs next to Hashem, I'll pray upstairs. Go downstairs, go tell the guy. Start praying. And hopefully, Bezrat Hashem will tear the decision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what happened, says the Gemara. Then we went and told Mordechai his decision in Shamayim. And the Megillah tells us Mordechai went outside, tore his clothing, wore a sack, put ashes on his head, and told everybody about the decision, crying, fasting, trying to break the Gezerah. Comes the Megillah and tells us that Mordechai sent somebody Atach to Esther, said, listen, you got to go to Achashverosh right away. There's no time to play. This is a big decision in Shamayim. You never know what might happen. Please go to Achashverosh and ask him. Esther goes to Achashverosh, ask him. Serious stuff. Very, very serious situation. That we were in a very bad situation. That actually HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed to do such a thing. Why? Because we went to the party. So what? So what? So Haman is from Amalek. Haman is from Amalek, and again he comes. Why did he come? What's the problem exactly? Well, Mordechai does not bow down to him, and he upsets, he's angry. They kill all the Jews, and Hashem agrees. How can it be? Something is wrong. In celebration, Purim, says the Gemara ליהודים, says the Megillah ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ועיקר, אורה זו תורה. Says עם ישראל understood, they have to accept the Torah, all the halachot. Prior to it, says the Gemara, Mordechai collected 22,000 children, taught them Torah. And then the Megillah will tell you slowly, they took Haman and hung Haman, and Baruch Hashem, we have Purim. Comes the Megillah and tells us that Mordechai, Ruach HaKodesh, said, you know, Purim is coming, you have 4 mitzvot. Number 1, you have to read the Megillah. Mitzvah. Not only to read the Megillah, Mordechai and Esther, Ruach HaKodesh said, if you miss one vowel or one letter, you did not fulfill the mitzvah. That's how crucial it is. He went outside for a second, he came back, forget about it. Somebody has to read it for you again. Somebody made a noise next to you. You had to sneeze, you blew your nose, something happened, you missed. One letter, finished. How can you be so strict? In the morning, in the evening first, in the morning, the whole Megillah. This is men and ladies, everybody is obligated. Second mitzvah, says Mishloach Manot, Matanot LaAvioni. You get this idea from Mordechai. Why? Mishloach Manot. Why have to say to send somebody food? Matanot LaAvionim, tzedakah. Why? What this has to do with Gezerah? And then Seudat Purim. Very special mitzvah. To sit down and eat. Comes the Gemara, comes the Rabbi and says, well, the mitzvah is to have wine in the meal, not to get drunk, chas v'shalom. Special mitzvah. For what? For what you have to do? As Seudah, says the Rambam, in the Seudah you have to, a mitzvah to have wine. No alcohol beverages. No alcohol beverages. Wine. What is it all about? Come the Gemara Botai and tells us a secret. You should know, the Megillah tells us that Mordechai, when he heard from Eliyahu Navi, the Gezerah, came outside to the street, ויזעק זעקה גדולה מאוד. Screams on the street. Screaming. What did he scream? Says the Gemara, you know what did he scream? He screamed something very sensitive. So-called, somebody overcome the Kadosh Baruch. You imagine? Eliyahu Nabi told him Hashem wants to kill all of Israel. Somebody convinced Hashem. Haman. Haman is greater than Hashem. What happened to all the love between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Everything is cancelled, screaming on the street. Says the Gemara, you want to know the truth? Why is he screaming? Why does the Megillah say Mordechai was screaming? Says the Gemara, let me remind you something. In Parasha Toldot, Sefer Bereshit, Torah tells us a story. Yitzchak Avinu felt that he's going to die. He called up Esav. He wants to give bracha to Esav. In the meantime, if you remember, Rivka called Yaakov. She told Yaakov, Yaakov, you go. I'll dress you up. Purim. And you come inside and you get the bracha. Yaakov did, and he came inside. He came outside. Esav came inside to Yitzchak. And Yitzchak asked him, who are you? And he said, well, I'm Esav. What do you mean, who am I? I said, what? Your brother came. Ba'achicha b'mirma b'chokhmat HaTorah, says the Gemara. Yaakov came and he got the bracha. And the Torah tells us, you know, Esav screamed. Esav screamed. Says the Gemara, look, Yaakov, you caused Esav to scream, huh? Now, Mordechai is your grandson. He will scream because Haman will make him scream. Because Haman is a grandson of Esav, Amalek is a grandson of Esav. So now, he paid you back. You made him scream, now he made you scream. Which means, what is it? What's the big deal about screaming? So somebody screamed, said, you know why you're screaming? Let me tell you, your great-grandfather made the other guy that made you scream, made him scream. What a big deal, so what? Comes the Gemara and says, listen, if it says in the text, in the Megillah, that Mordechai screamed, you should know why he screamed. He screamed because Mordechai's grandfather made Haman's grandfather scream. This is what is really behind. Comes the Gemara with some information. You should understand the secret of this big holiday. Says the Gemara, a statement like this. Am Yisrael came to Refidim, Rafu Yedei min Torah. They don't learn so much Torah. Vayavo Amalek came. Who has such a thing? If you don't study Torah, Amalek comes. What? Hezbollah, ISIS. Why? Doesn't say that they made a sin. They just don't learn so much. For not learning so much, Amalek came. No. Says the Gemara, I'll tell you the secret. Amalek's father was Esav's son. His name was Eliphaz. Eliphaz, before he died, he called up Amalek. He told him, listen, you could have been very, very rich and successful. Grandfather, Yitzchak. It's my grandfather. Called one day, my father, Esav, wants to give him a bracha. And then Grandma, Rebecca, called Jacob, and told him, you go get the bracha. And because of that, you're not successful. You make sure one day you take revenge. Go kill them. That's how the story starts. When you read the Torah, Vayavo Amalek, we're going to, B'ezrat Hashem, read it on Purim morning. Amalek came. He said, listen, I want to ask you something. Am Yisrael just crossed Yam Suf. We say every day in Az Yashir. Az Nivalo Lofei Edom. Everybody got scared. Amalek comes. So why did he come? What happened? In the middle of the desert. Because his father told him, listen, don't let it go. You must kill all the Jews. Says the Gemara, Amalek took the advice. He cannot go to Egypt. Power is very strong. Wait until Am Yisrael come out of Egypt, and then he's going to attack all of them. Because his father told him, one day they're going to come out of Egypt. Grandfather Abraham said, Hashem told him that one day we'll come out of Egypt. He waited. They got to the place to feed him. He wants to come. Says the Gemara, before he made the decision, he went to discuss it with Bilam. Bilam was a magician. Goes over to him and says, listen, I want to ask you something. I want to go to attack the Jewish people. But, I'm a little bit scared. Look what happened to power. Look what happened. That guy Musa took all of them, drowned them in the water in Yam Suf, and before he destroyed Egypt. Shall I go? Bilam said, let me tell you something. You have an edge. If you want to know what is the zechut of the Jews, why? How come they're so successful? Because they're the grandfather of Abraham Avinu. Abraham Avinu. If somebody is going to ask you, what is the secret of the Jewish people? One answer, Abraham Avinu. Was the only person around the world, says the Rambam, that fought for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let me tell you something. All the other nations, they have nothing to do with Avraham Avinu. But you're a grandson of Avraham Avinu. Who is your father? Eliphaz. Who is your grandfather? Esau. Who is Esau's father? Yitzchak. Who is Yitzchak's father? Avraham. You're very compatible to them. Don't worry. You go, you win them. Go. Says the Gemara, Amalek took the advice. ויבוא עמלק וילחם עם ישראל ביפרדים. Somebody's going to ask you, what happened? Why Amalek came? Says the Gemara, because his father told him. And what made him decide to go? Because he is his grandson as Abraham as we are. Come Chachamim and explain to us in details. And you know what happened exactly. Yitzchak Avinu, says the Torah, when Esau came inside and cried. Yitzchak told him, listen, I got no bracha from you. Says the Torah that Esau was screaming and crying. Yitzchak said, you know what? I'll tell you what. Vaya kasher tarid. Esau said, what do you mean? Yitzchak said, listen, Yaakov is going to be on the top. But if they will not learn Torah, you're going to be able to destroy them. Doesn't mean that you don't keep the mitzvot. No. You don't learn Torah, you have no time to study. Rafu yedehem in HaTorah. Amalek came not because we did a sin. Because if you don't study, Yitzchak told Yaakov that. Said Rabbi Menuzia, the minute we don't study, he is going to come to take revenge because Yaakov did something wrong by taking the blessing from his brother. Says the Gemara, I'll tell you, look, Esau comes inside the room. Yitzchak told him, listen, your brother took the bracha. Esau screamed. Says the Gemara, Yaakov, because of you, Esau screamed? Wait. Yitzchak said, you can have an edge on your brother if you study. If you don't study, then Vayavo Amalek, Esau is here. So you're going to say, what happened? Nothing happened. The only reason why we're on the top is because Yitzchak gave us a bracha. You know why? Because Yitzchak said to Esau, בא אחיך במרמה בחוכמת תורתו. Yitzchak told Esav, you know why I gave the bracha to Yaakov? You know why the Jews are so successful? 47th Street, 37th Street, 14th Street, this street, upstate, Bronx, here, there. Why? Because Yitzchak gave a bracha to Yaakov. And you know why I gave it to him? Because Chokhmat Torah, because we study Torah. Because we keep the mitzvot. And we have the chosen. If you don't study Torah, reverse, Esav gets the bracha. That's what Yitzchak told Esav in his face. I gave Yaakov the bracha, but it's a condition. You come to Refidim, you don't study. Amalek is here. Why did he come? His father told him to take revenge. What? Revenge for what? That he took the blessing from his grandfather. They said, you know what Hashem said? Hashem told Moshe, listen, when you get out of Egypt, I'll take you to Har Sinai and I'll give you the Torah. You know why? Because Yitzchak said it. Because Yitzchak said if you don't study Torah, Amalek is going to come. You did a boo-boo. So that you don't think you do a favor to somebody who study Torah. If you don't study Torah, you lose your privilege. You're not entitled to get a bracha. You know you get a bracha? Because some other people learn. But if you don't learn, you're not entitled. Who said it? Yitzchak said it. Yitzchak told Esav this. והיה כאשר תריד, ופרק עולו מעל צוואריך. If he's not going to study Torah, says you Esav, you're going to come. You're going to destroy him. That is exactly, says the Gemara, why Amalek came. Remember Amalek came? I said, what happened? How did he dare? I said, how did he dare? Eliphaz told him the secret. How come he didn't come before? Before we learn Torah a little bit. We came to Refidim, so Refidim in the Torah, they don't learn so much. Lo tishkach. Do not forget. Let's Hashem said to us, take a Torah and read a paragraph, Parashat Zachor. Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. Remember Amalek came. Remember what? Says the Gemara, let me tell you some more details you understand. You know, Yitzchak Avinu was born on Pesach. His Brit Milah was on Pesach. Day after Pesach. Says the Torah, you know, ויעש אברהם משתה גדול ביום יגמל את יצחק. Abraham made a big party. Wonderful story. What do you have to know it? What do you have to know it? Well, the Torah is a story. Says the Gemara, משתה גדול, you know what Abraham did? He invited chief. The big Talmidei Chachamim, Tzadikim. As well, Avimelech, a goy. A goy, the king of the Palestine. What? You invited the goy to use son's Brit Milah? For what you invited him? What do you have to do with him? Well, he kidnapped your wife. Okay, so you owe him anything. Says the Torah, says the Gemara, Abraham invited the goy to Yitzchak's Brit Milah. For what you invited him? Say Chachamim, I want to explain to you something. What is it, Magen Avraham? Says the Gemara, you should know, Avraham is your shield. Then we say in Shemoneh Esrei, Baruch Atah Hashem, Magen Avraham. What do you have in mind? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you what Avraham did. Achnasat Orchim, let me tell you what he did. Always made big parties. For what? Says the Gemara, people used to come to the parties, and Avraham used to make him a meal, and then Avraham says, credit card. He said, what credit card? What do you think, it's a free war? What do you mean? You don't want to pay? No problemo. Say Birkat Hamazon to Hashem. He says, no, listen, I'm Buddha. He says, you Buddha? Good. American Express, please. Don't leave it out. Says, no. Says, okay, say, Birkat Hamazon to Hashem, Baruch Atah Hashem, not Baruch Atah Buddha. Says the Gemara, this was the purpose of Achnasat Orchim of Avraham Avinu. That's why he was looking outside to see there's a guest. Because he brought him inside, he convinced him to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Torah, listen how smart he was. When Yitzchak was born, everybody gossiped, He's adopted, found him in the Bronx. He said, Rivka gave birth. What Torah is it? Rivka, in 1 foot she's in the grave, she gives birth. And Nikabanim Sarah. Says the Gemara, Ram told Sarah, listen, now you go inside the room, let all the ladies bring their children crying, you nurse. Nurse all of them. Everybody should know that you didn't find Yitzchak in a garbage can. Kiddush Hashem. That's what in the text, that's what the Torah tells us. So Avraham Avinu invited the Goy to the Brit Milah. So why invite him to the Brit Milah? You know why? Enika banim Sarah. We will show everybody who is Hashem. No doctors, no hospitals. She became pregnant to tell you, to teach you what's Emunah in Hashem. That was the purpose. Ve'yas Avraham yishteh gadol. Drinking, wine, party. What you want to do, Avraham? I want to convince. This was my achnasat orchim. That's why he sits outside the tent after he had Brit Milah. He sits outside, he's 99 years old, he's looking for guests. So why need guests for? Because if I have guests, I bring him to the house. I tell them, listen, believe in Hashem, I give you some food. That is Avraham Avinu. Says the Rambam, let me tell you what he is. Avraham Avinu was the first person who goes around the world, tell people don't believe in statues. Don't bow down to statues. And Avraham Avinu makes parties for Hashem's sake, not to show off who was the first Hoya. Because via the parties, he brought people to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Come the Gemara and tells, listen, I want to explain to you what Purim was all about. No, Achashverosh made a party, huh? Says the Gemara, you go to the party? Mordechai, says the Gemara, stood at the entrance to the party and told the people, don't go inside. Mixed dancing. The girls don't wear the right clothing. Nobody listened. 18,500 went inside, got drunk, and did bad things with girls. That's why you go to the party. A party is to bring people to Hashem. Instead, you went away from Hashem. That's what Eliyahu Nabi told Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. You don't understand what happened. They went to the party, so who cares? You don't understand. After I made a party, the Torah says, you know why I made a party? I made a party to bring the Goyim back to him. He called up Avimelech, the Goy, the king. He says, come to the party, see what Hashem is. See how my wife nurses a lot of babies at 90 years old. And what did you do over there in the party? Not only did you bring any Goy back to Hashem, you went to Buddha over there with Achashverosh. And then after the party, Haman comes and he has a statue. Everybody has to bow down to him. I said, you do the same thing. He did the same thing. Why did you go to the party? Well, it's a family business. What family? When my grandfather went, I went to, what do you mean you went with him? How dare you go over there to those parties? Let me tell you something, says the Gemara, says the Zohar. You know, Abraham made his big party. The Satan got dressed up like a Meshulach. And he was standing over there, and he said, Achnasat Kala. And Abraham said, Achnasat Kala? Didn't give him tzedakah. Comes the Gemara and said, let me explain to you. Came Eliyahu Navi to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and said, Gezerah in Shamayim. And they asked, what did they do, the children of Israel? He said, they went to the party, I would say, what? They went to the party of the Goyim? What is this? January 1st? Halloween? You went to the party? You know your zechut, your hair is because of Avraham Avinu, says the Gemara. Bilam said it. If somebody asks you, how come you're so successful? How come you're still alive? Bilam told Amalek, B'zchut Avraham Avinu. What did he do? Did he worship Avodah Zarah? Went to preach and convince people not to do Avodah Zarah? You bow down to the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. Avraham Avinu made parties to bring people back. You went to the party and you went away from Hashem. Avraham, can you do that? Did you study? You don't study, huh? Yitzchak said, you don't study? So I told Yaakov, if you study, okay, if you don't study, Esav is here. Who is Haman? I from Esav. What can we do? Can do nothing. What can we do? Yaakov, what are you going to say? I said, what shall I say? That's the bracha that Yitzchak gave me. If we study, we are on the top. If we don't study, Esav is right. Can do nothing. So Navi, I'm sorry. Navi said, okay, goodbye, he's going to Moshe. Moshe, what happened? Eliyahu told him what happened. Eliyahu said, listen, it's a disaster. Moshe said, listen, you have anybody downstairs? Are you there? Mordechai. I'm Mordechai. Mordechai. Okay. Tell Mordechai to pray. Says the Gemara, you know what Mordechai did? Collected 22,000 children. Teach them Torah. It says, why? Why send them to yeshiva? Send them public school. Cheap. So what if he gets married to a Chinese or Filipinos? You don't understand. The only way you survive, Yitzchak told Yaakov, if you study Torah. If you don't study Torah, Yitzchak told Esav, you're gonna kill them. So it's not a trick. Purim is coming, we'll save. You won't save, it's not true. You escaped from the Gezerah, from the decision, because Mordechai took 22,000 people, children, and taught them Torah. Then the scale went up, and Esav is going down. Math. Simple math. It's no miracle. It's either you study, or Esav comes. Says the Gemara, says the Megillah, Uraz Torah. Everybody said to Mordechai, okay. We accept Shabbat, we accept the halachot, we accept all the things, Mordechai, all the halachot. We accept everything. Thank you. We understood. We got the message. Now we understood the message. That's the story. That's Parashat Zachor. It's not remember what Amalek did. No. Why did he come? That's what we have to remember. Lo tishkach. Can you ask him, what happened? How did he come? How could he come? What made him come? How come he wasn't scared of us? Moshe is here. We destroy Egypt. Splitting Yam Suf. We having man. When? Everything. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. Everything b'zchut Avraham Avinu. Vayvaka'at Avraham chopped wood for Akedat Yitzchak. Moshe will split Yam Suf. Vayvaku Amayim. You got water in the desert. B'zchut Avraham Avinu. You got Namat Mayim. He gave water to the gas. You got man in the desert. You're eating. You know what you're eating? Because Avraham Avinu gave food to the angels. Everything is b'zchut Avraham Avinu. You win a war, b'zchut Avraham, says the Gemara. Everything Avraham Avinu. So, Avraham, what did he do? You have to be the child of Avraham. You have to be the grandson of Avraham. What did he do? Made parties to bring people back. Immediately, ורבים מעמי הארץ מתייחדים. Megillah will tell you all of a sudden a lot of goyim, they come to convert. What's the information? It says finally, because of Mordechai. Everybody is afraid of Mordechai, and they all want to become Jews. Because that's the job of Avraham Avinu. And that's exactly what the Torah tells you. Parashat Zachor is coming. Okay, remember Amalek? You don't understand Amalek. Amalek is the whip to wake us up, to remember what Yitzchak said. Says the Gemara, let me tell you something, I want to tell you a story. Once upon a time, a father told his child, don't go down to the street. And Baruch Hashem, children don't listen. And the child went down. Downstairs was a dog. Bit the child. And tore the child's pants. Says the Gemara, every time afterwards, the child wanted to go down, the father told him, remember, was a dog downstairs, bit you, and tore your pants. Said, listen, why didn't you tell your child? Remember, you better listen. Says the Gemara, the father doesn't want to embarrass his child. He tells him, remember, the dog tore your pants. That's it. Why didn't you tell him? Because he didn't listen, the dog tore your pants. Says the Gemara, Hashem said, Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. Hashem said, remember Amalek. It says, Hashem should have said, remember you didn't study. That's why Amalek came. Hashem did not want to embarrass us. And he hinted to us, says the Gemara, remember Amalek? It says, ring the bell. I said, yeah, what? He didn't study. So, it's a simple math. You don't study, Amalek comes. Who told him? His father told him to come. His father told him, go. Yaakov told the bracha. He went to Bilam. Bilam said, listen, you're also the grandson of Abraham. If they don't study, you're the grandson of Abraham. You're going to have them married. It's your privilege. Go ahead. Killed him. That's exactly what Mordechai said. This Purim is coming. Let me tell you what you got to do on Purim. You got to study the Torah. You got to read the Megillah. Don't miss one vowel. Don't miss one letter. Because it's Torah. Because with this Megillah, Yeshua Kadosh Baruch Hu, I want to study. I want to learn. Because otherwise you have no right to exist. You have no right to win. He's going to win you over. Yitzchak said. He said, Mordechai said, let me tell you something. Make a feast, Seudat Purim, Mishteh. Mishteh, it says, ring the bell. Yeah, Avraham made a big Mishteh. You know what we did? We went to Achashverosh Mishteh. But instead to bring Goyim close to Hashem, we went away from Hashem. Mordechai said, listen, especially mitzvah Purim, make a Seudat Purim, but remember, Avraham Avinu, remember. Also, I want to tell you something else. Remember, the Mishteh Avraham Avinu made was a poor man over there. And Satan dressed up like a Meshulach, and Avraham ignored him. And then Satan went to Hashem and said, look, he didn't give tzedakah. So Mordechai listened and said, don't forget Purim to give tzedakah. Don't forget to give tzedakah. Because this is Avraham Avinu. So you have to remember that the task and the goal on Purim is like to be like Avraham Avinu. V'chachot min. Says the Gemara, say, Magen Avraham. In Shemona say, Avraham, he is my shield. Is your shield yet? If you behave like Avraham. If you don't behave like Avraham, Amalek comes. That's the whole story. Remember Amalek. Remember why he came. How did you get rid of him? What happened? Says the Gemara, Moshe raised his hands and prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please. So what happened? You don't study. It's automatic. A person has to make sure he's going to study. Because if he doesn't study, he has no right to be here. That's Hashem told Moshe, go tell them coming out of Egypt. Tell them they can get the Torah either way. He said, why? Because if you don't get the Torah, Amalek is waiting for you. He waited for you. Nephilim waited for you. He came. Why? You just don't study. No sin. Sinless. But Kovei Haitim, Kavat Haitim LaTorah. I says you have to make sure that every day you study. Because otherwise, Amalek, says the Zohar, Amalek, says Erev Rav, Amalek, bad angels, bad things, that happen to the person. So why? You don't study. So what if I don't study? I keep Shabbat. You don't understand. If you don't study, Amalek, the Satan has a right to give you a hard time. So the Purim is Simcha, happy, happy, happy. What happened? We accepted Torah Sheba'al Peh. We accepted Moshe, we're going to do all the halachot. We're going to keep everything. Because otherwise, another Haman, his name is Hitler. His name is whatever you want to call him. Says the Gemara, before Mashiach will come, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring a bad king as bad as Haman to bring us back. The first thing is we have to study. Then we survive Mashiach.